Yes. Welcome to another Monday night where we come together to help unite dreamers, develop, lead, and empower. Every Monday night we are here, 6:30 p.m. here at the House of Justice. Thank you all for joining us that are here in person and those that will join online. How many days away are we from the March on Wall Street? Go ahead, Mr. 19? 17. Today's August 11th. All right. 17 days away from the March on Wall Street. How many people are registered here for the March on Wall Street? Raise your hand. Very good. How many people are registered to get on the bus? How many people have registered to go? How many people have registered someone to go to the March on Wall Street? Oh, very good. All right. Give yourselves a round of applause. So we are going to Wall Street because, as Rev says, that is where the money is. And so we are taking our feet to where the money is. We are starting at the African Burial Ground, one of the oldest and largest places where we know that the slaves had been buried here in America. And we are starting there and going past the bowl because that is the heart of the financial district, not of just this city, but of this country. Everything that happens in America runs through the city of New York. And so we will have international eyes on us as we are doing this. And so we want to be mindful of that. And we want to make sure that everybody is registered either to join us on Wall Street, or even those that can't come from around the country. We want folks to do sister actions, as we know some folks are doing. All right? All right, I'm going to open us up with the scripture, and then we are going to pray. Hebrews 10 and 22 through 25 read, "Let us draw near with a true heart in the full assurance of our faith, having our hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience and our bodies washed with pure water. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for he is faithful that promised. And let us consider one another to provoke unto love, and to do good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exalting one another, and so much more. And ye shall see the day approaching." Father, we thank you for your word. We thank you for bringing us here on tonight. Lord, we pray for all of those that are here in person. Thank you for getting them here safely. Bless those that would join us virtually. Let us have a good huddle. In Jesus' name, amen. Dan? Okay, there you are. Dan is coming with our Black National Anthem. If everybody will stand for that. And those that would like to join Dan with singing, step forward to the microphone here on the side.
If you are singing with the choir this evening, you may join us at the microphone. Amen. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven rings with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. Amen.
Thank you, Dan, and thank you to those that sang in our Huddle choir. Give them one more big hand for that. All right, now we will have our chair and director report from our founder, Ashley Sharpton. Let's give Ashley a hand as she comes.
Happy Huddle Monday. It's always a pleasure to be here at the House of Justice on a Monday evening. Happy Huddle Monday once again. All right, I have action alerts and announcements coming from the national office and coming from our local office. All right? So, who joined us for the National Night Out in the Bronx last week or in Harlem? All right, that's like 3 of y'all, 4 of y'all. All right, clap yourselves up. That was good. Good effort. Good effort in the community with the police. You know, it's good to have that unity and to be aware. And basically, it was all over the city, so it's glad that some of you all went out. I know that we were well represented in the Bronx with, what's his name, Councilman Riley? Councilman Kevin Riley. I know Coordinator Ron McHenry and a few of our Bronx members with Thomas Coswell joined him, so salute to you all if you are watching. Also, who joined the governor and Senator Clear yesterday at the Malcolm X renaming for the station? All right, so there's about 2 or 3 y'all. Clap yourselves up. For those who don't know, Malcolm X station there's a new Malcolm X station. It was called that. But when I grew up, it was on 110th and Lenox. It was just basically the 110th Street station. And it's now, on 110th and Lenox, it's now called the Malcolm X station. So let's clap that up and honor that. He lived in that community for, I think, a decade right before he was killed. And Ilyasa and Malak we see almost every Saturday here. And they are his daughters. They were there to basically honor his life, talk about what happened, and stand with the electeds for the special moment. So again, if you go by 110th, just make sure you salute to Malcolm X, who's right there in the House of Justice. He was a great king, and he's the great shining king of Harlem. All right. Okay, let's jump into it. So Martha's Vineyard Film Fest. Reverend Sharpton was at the Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival this week, now celebrating its 23rd year, providing a crucial opportunity for Black artists to showcase their work and talent. The MVAAFF, which is the Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival, brings together filmmakers, trendsetters, elected officials, advocates, and more to celebrate Black films and the culture. Reverend Sharpton was on stage for a fireside chat focusing on finding joy during these tumultuous times. The chat featuring him, Rep. Jasmine Crockett, Rep. Ayanna Presley, and moderator Leslie Herod. They focused on how joy is not just a feeling, but a form of resistance. Myself and JT were blessed to join him as we're his social media and media team, and it was an incredible experience. We want to work towards getting Nan even more involved in the Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival. Some of you were there for the Loudmouth when it premiered 3 years ago out there, and it was an incredible experience. A lot of our Jersey members also were there, but it's basically, who knows the significance of Martha's Vineyard? Anybody? Okay, so basically Martha's Vineyard is in Massachusetts, and basically, who knows what the Hamptons is? Okay, you know what the Hamptons is. Okay, so basically we weren't allowed to go to the Hamptons in Cape Cod, Black people. So where we could go, where we could gather, where we were welcomed was Martha's Vineyard. And that became our special place where we could gather, and we created beautiful homes and beautiful culture on that special place. And it's still there today, and it's special because it's been there since we were enslaved. And certain different people made it popular. The Clintons ended up going there during his presidency, Bill Clinton, and that helped to make it popular. But President Obama, our forever president, of course, helped to also make it popular. Michelle Obama, our forever first lady, was just there as well. She goes every year. So that's something that, if you want to look into that, Martha's Vineyard is something that we respect. And it's definitely Black culture and Black history, and we definitely honor it, and we always are excited to be a part of it every year. And salute to Trudy Lucas and the founders of the Martha's Vineyard Film Festival for your work. We honored them at the Triumph Awards 2 years ago, so everybody met them. They're great people, and they literally just had a dream, and they pursued it, and now it's 23 years later. So salute to you all. All right, March on Wall Street is almost here. Christian has already announced it. Let's see if we're in the same place. How many days away are we? 17. All right. We were listening. All right, who knows where we are meeting? He also said that. African burial ground. All right, great. All right. And we will be down there for most of that. There are buses leaving all over the city now, right? So there is no excuse that you don't have a way to get there. We are in New York City, so our transit system works, all right? So you definitely have a way to get there. If you cannot get on the bus, there is no excuse not to be at the March on Wall Street on August 28th. We are starting at 10 a.m. But we are asking that if you are not, well, the bus has different times. You have call times, so you don't listen to me. There are captains there. But those of you who are listening and not coming with us on the bus, I suggest that you get there around 8:39 so that we are in proper places. We don't want anybody to be conflicting. This is a public march, and this is in New York City. So there might be detractors. So we want to be on the same page and make sure we're listening to the right people. I don't know if you all have seen the stories that there's been some people impersonating ICE agents, and they've been roughing up young people and mothers, and so it's just, you just don't know what's going on. So we just want to make sure we're all in the know and want to be on the same page with NAN and our partners. Amen? All right, so keep your eyes open because there's a lot of distractions and foolery happening outside. All right, how do we register? For those who do not know, for those watching who does not know what I'm talking about. What's the website? Scream it out. Is that a scream, Ocean? Go ahead, Christian. MarchOnWallStreet.com or NationalActionNetwork.net, or you can call 1-877-626-4651. There is still space, and we need you all to come. Patrice or Christian will answer the phone. All right. Let's jump on into it. And we have national partners as well. Reverend Sharpton, we're releasing all that information this week, but we definitely want you to be a part of it. If you are a chapter leader, you already know, you've already been a part of the cause, but we are mobilizing every day. All right? Voting Rights Act, 60 years. Oh, where's my mind? We just had a rally day yesterday for the March on Wall Street. Who was in the building at Mount Nebo Baptist Church? All right, salute to you. That's more than half the room. So we had a Harlem pre-rally day led by our board member, Pastor Johnny Green, and he also was joined with our other board member from Jersey, Pastor Steffi Bartley, and we also have a pre-rally day in Jersey on Thursday, so at 7 o'clock, I believe. So if you're in Jersey, we want you to come out. We know Jersey, they're some of our strongest chapters in Jersey, so we know it's going to be great out there. There's great energy. Jamie Bland, Pastor Steffi Bartley, and everyone involved. But we thank you all for coming out. Harlem yesterday after, some of us be in church all day. And y'all came at 7 o'clock after being in church all day, to lift him. So we thank you, and we salute to you, Reverend Sharpton, always for calling us to action, because you laid that out, Doc. And you did that Saturday and Sunday, so salute to you. Yes. All right. This week marked the 60th anniversary of signage of the groundbreaking Voting Rights Act. Reverend Sharpton made several appearances on MSNBC reflecting on the significance of the legislation, progress made, and how everything is being eroded now. On Morning Joe, he discussed how his mother teared up when the act was signed into law. Was anybody alive in this room when the act was signed into law? Wow, Tony Veer was alive. Who else? Sorry. Winston, of course Winston was in the building. Right. So my grandma Ada Sharpton, teared up when the act was signed into law because she grew up being unable to vote. Could you imagine that, not being able to vote? Like, that's a right for us that we just, some people don't take for granted. There are some people who were alive when they were not able to vote. Right. And Rev shared a story he learned from Ambassador Andrew Young about how Reverend King said, let's go back down south and give the president some power, which led to Selma, Bloody Sunday, and a moral movement that shook the conscience of this nation. On the eve of the 60th anniversary, Reverend Sharpton released a powerful statement which read, in part, it has never been more crucial than now that we remain fiercely committed to defending the right to vote. Dr. King knew that the right to vote is the fundamental right from which all others flow. That truth is exactly why the VRA was the most significant civil rights legislation of the 20th century. 60 years after its signing, the VRA stands as one of America's most hard-won achievements, secured through protests, sacrifice, and a movement that refused to yield. Republican governors and legislators, like those in Texas, are specifically targeting VRA, protected districts, rigging maps to look in GOP advantage ahead of the midterms. What voters now face is a sophisticated architecture of exclusion, Gerrymandered districts, predetermined outcomes. I'm gonna say that again. Gerrymandered districts, predetermined outcomes. Voter roll purges systemically target Black, brown, indigenous, and low-income communities. Mail-in voting restrictions and strict ID laws suppress students, disabled individuals, and older adults. So most of these reasons that we're talking about with the VRA, that's another reason why we're going down to Wall Street. If you all are not clear, it's not just about DEI. There's so many things to stand up for in this time. Choose one. Choose one and join us. I'll make it simple. It's hot in here, so I'm about to move from here. But all right. But choose an issue. Choose an issue and join us. Register with us. If you don't register, it will be hard for you to get on a bus. I'm making it plain. If you don't register, it will be hard for you to just take up space down there because there will be order. We are not going down there disorderly, and we will not go down there in violence. So if you are going on that type of time, please do not join us. Please do not join us. Thank you. All right. Last thing but not least. We are in Harlem Week. This is the 51st year of Harlem Week. And yes, it is a celebration. It's a great celebration. We're happy to be a part of it. We remember the founder of Harlem Week, Mr. Lloyd Williams, who we lost. He used to sit right there in that front row. He would come in humbly. We saw Ade Williams literally 2 weeks ago. Ade was here with his son, which is Lloyd Williams' grandson, and literally talking to Christian, looking to include us in Harlem Week. And now he has passed, literally during his Harlem Week. But his legacy lives on because Harlem Week is thriving, right? And he did what he came to do. So let's clap up the legacy of Lloyd Williams. To the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce, salute to you all. We love y'all. We will definitely be at the funeral to pay our respects, and we will never forget Lloyd Williams in the House of Justice or the National Action Network. Happy Harlem Week, and we will continue to support and keep that going. I just have one more announcement. It's basically an update for the DEI fight. So the latest in DEI fight, as far as Penn State, the University of Pennsylvania's Carey Law School has suspended applications for its Sadie T.M. Alexander full tuition scholarship program. It will close its Office of Equal Opportunity and Engagement by the end of this summer, according to multiple sources familiar with the decisions. The scholarship launched in 2021 for incoming students interested in racial justice and honoring Alexander's legacy was first proposed by members of the Black Law Student Association and implemented under then Dean Ted Ruger. The law school's website confirms it will not accept scholarship applications for the 2025-2026 academic year in a message to the law school community from Dean Sophia Z. Lee. Lee said that the office's functions will have included helping law school members dialogue across difference will be integrated into broader school-wide initiatives. She did not specify the status of staff members, including interim associate dean, former Philadelphia's chief diversity, equity, and inclusion officer. One source who requested anonymity for fear of retaliation criticized the changes. It's frustrating that Penn is capitulating in this way. This programming is essential for keeping people motivated and engaged in ways that we haven't seen in the past. So basically, this scholarship is for black students, and it's for basically those interested in racial justice. And they it's defunded. They haven't given a reason. They haven't shared next steps. They haven't shared what the students can do who applied for the school. And basically, they just said at the end of the summer, it's no more. This is another example of what's happening in this era. Trump, they cut the funding. It already happened. We don't have to wait for a law to pass. They cut it. And basically, if you have a school like this or a program like this, you're basically under threat, and people are folding. A lot of us are saying, well, why would you do that, stand strong? But they don't have the money. So if you are not funded, how can you stand strong and teach? Who are you going to pay if you have no money to teach the teachers? If you have no money to fund the building? If you have no money to fund the books, right? So we are losing. I just want to keep y'all updated because we get out and we talk, and I know it's great to do DEI. It's great. We're going to keep doing DEI Thursday. But I need y'all to understand what we are losing this battle. And it's because of money. It's because of money. So we have to figure out a way to support our people, to support these schools. And I will continue to say, as someone who went to Hampton University, that's HBCU, if these programs are being cut, what do you think is going to happen to historically black colleges and universities across this country? I'll leave that there. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley, for that great report. And on a lighter note, today is a very historical day. Does anybody know why it is a historical day for us here in New York City, particularly those that are from the Bronx? Yes, today is the birthday of hip hop. 52nd year of hip hop being in existence. And so, Tony, you're supposed to be the hip hop man, and you didn't even know that. You from the Bronx, didn't even know that. So sad. All right. I have another announcement that I have. A young man 4 years ago by the name of Kendall Ray Johnson earned the title of Georgia's youngest certified farmer and has been breaking the ground in the agricultural world. Now at the age of 10, Now at the age of 10, she has dedicated and has earned some of the biggest things possible, such as a full ride scholarship to college at the age of 10. She has founded the Kendall Ray Green Heart, which is a non-for-profit that encourages young people to explore farming, sustainability, and entrepreneurship. Her commitment also caught the attention of world leaders, national leaders first, including the state of Georgia, which they gave her an honor by declaring the 23rd of March as Kendall Ray Johnson Day. She has also been able to go to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, visit South Carolina State University, and there were schools that were so impressed with her that they allowed her to begin to do research in microorganisms, crop counts, and cattle that awarded her a full scholarship of $90,000 to do research at their university. And so we just want to give her a hand for all the great work she's doing at that very impressive age. All right, does anybody have good news or announcements? Anybody? Oh, God. Come on.
Okay, so I got a few. So this Sunday is gonna be my 29th birthday.
Oh, beautiful.
Also after Caden's birthday, which is September 1st, he will be starting nursery school. So yeah, my baby's going to school. So that's all. So that's all my good news.
Nursery school.
My good news is a little bit about St. Martha. Martha's Vineyard was the first place where they had an assembly line of the fish to start business. It's like a market. So the fishermen would take the fish from the boat and make a human assembly line. It's a vineyard. Vineyards are where the grapes grow to make wine. And it was very good because they did not have refrigerators. So wine and ciders were the first distilled spirits beverage because they did not have refrigerator. They would put food in the ground, bury it, that was their refrigerator. So Martha's Vineyard is the first place where the fish started to organize labor.
Yeah, but organized labor, I don't know what kind of labor it was. Was it free labor or was it paid labor? Teamwork. Okay, go ahead.
I thank God for being out here. Even with us walking around with walkers, you still get scammed. I try to help someone out and to buy food off of my food stamp card, and then when I walked away from the young man, there was another man sitting here, taking it from him. Yeah, I brought something for this young man.
Yes, go ahead.
That was on the street. But you don't know what these people are doing out there helping other people to scam people like us as seniors.
That's right.
They see us walking with walkers, they don't care. It's just sometimes, and I went back to the other man. I said, are you really you're trying to take money, give him money for the food that I just brought for him? He like, oh, I'm not trying to scam him. I'm not doing that to him. Then the young man was like, he lives with him.
Thank you,
and
sir.
it's crazy. Just be careful.
Thank
Even
you.
with myself.
Thank you for the story time. Thank you so much. Oh, God help me.
I'm good. Okay, so every year we have had, well, no, I'm not gonna gas it. So we've had Huddle Up Harlem for 3 years, right? Which is basically a school supplies giveaway, back to school giveaway, and resource fair. So this year we're gonna do it on September 6th. I think I announced it 2 weeks ago. Well, Kristen announced it on Saturday. But we started accepting donations. We're still waiting for the flyer, so don't beat me up. But I'm excited because we got a great donation today from Christina, who basically works in our HR department nationally, but she gave us literally like 5 bags full of things. So I just wanted to thank you. I know she don't watch Huddle, but thank you, Christina Riccadelli, for your donation, and thank you. We're gonna be holding them here. So if anybody else wants to donate, we're taking your donations in, and we're gonna be giving them out on September 6th. If anybody wants to help volunteer to help with the back to school giveaway, we're definitely welcome those as well. You can speak directly to Christian, or myself, or Damo, or Treese. All right? September 6th, it'll be 12 o'clock. And it will be here, but there will also be like a remix. It will also be on 125th as well. So just make sure you speak to us because it's going to be a fun day, and we're excited. So thank you. Thank you again, Chris.
Thank you. Yes, that was that. Also, we are, something's echoing. We are doing this one. Okay. Also, after the march, immediately after the march, I believe we're either going to start on the 29th or the 1st. We haven't fully decided yet. The Youth and College Department will be doing 21 days of prayer immediately following the march. It will be on Zoom every day from 12 to 12:30. Every day on Zoom. We may go live, but you will get all of that information. We have some very powerful prayer warriors and speakers that you will hear from, and then the prayer will conclude in a service, as Ashley called it, a revival service. And so all of that is forthcoming, and you will get more information within the next 2 weeks. But I want you to keep it in your mind now. 21 days of prayer right after the march, and we will conclude with a revival service. Also, on the things of the march, if you have not already signed up for a bus, make sure that you sign up, as the buses are filling up quick. And so we want to make sure that we get everybody on one. And if you cannot find a bus in your area, call the House of Justice, and somebody will direct you to where you need to go. All right? All right, so now we're going into our Did You Knows, and we are going to start with Damien, Damo, Patrice, and then I will go. All right? All right.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Brother Christian. Happy Huddle Monday, everybody. How's everybody today? Excuse me, I'm a little twisted around here. Excuse me, just a little wardrobe malfunction. I apologize. But yes, today's article I'll be reading will be about student loan update, a new plan rolled out to help 1.4 million borrowers. And why this is really important is because it not only puts people in a good position to get their higher education, but it also puts them in a position so that they can pay back loans. This article is not just about the educating of people, but it's also about finance. And so I'm going to continue with this article. A new student loan reduction plan will be available to 1.4 million borrowers in New York City. Mayor Eric Adams on Thursday announced the loan reduction and college savings assistance program, which also offers specialized assistance for 1.6 million parents and guardians in the lowering cost of college education. Some say, well, why does this matter? The program will help many borrowers who contribute to America's 1.8 trillion student loan debt. Again, it matters because this program will help many borrowers borrowers who contribute to America's $1.8 trillion in student loan debt. Since President Donald Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act was signed into law last month, the Department of Education will abolish the SAVE program and other income-driven payment IDR options by July 2028. Currently, borrowers' SAVE will be transitioned to new plans, either the Repayment Assistance Plan, RAP, which is slated to be launched by July 2026, or revised repayment plan. However, these plans typically offer higher monthly payments and make it more difficult for borrowers to afford basic necessities. So it's a great thing that we have this program here coming into New York to help individuals pay for their college student loans. But we need more, and the fact that the Department of Education is being abolished, that just sets us back as a country. That sets us back as a nation. That puts this country in a position where we won't be able to be competitive against any other nation anywhere else. Everything that's taking place with this administration is rolling back the success of this United States of America. It's not just hurting black people. It's not just hurting brown people. It's hurting people all across the board. Everybody depends on the Department of Education in some form, way, or fashion. And again, we've got to just be in a position so that people can go to school, get educated, so that they can not only get good jobs, but create great jobs for the future generations. And so with that, this is the article on this afternoon. Thank you. Now, this is this is in regards to anybody else would like to share anything or have any questions or any statements? Damo, come on up, sis.
While we're waiting for Damo, let's give Damon a hand for that great Did You Know? Dominique is now coming with her Did You Know on Snap.
All right, so yes, we can get some comments on this one. Reverend Sharpton did an op-ed this past week on the ramifications of some of the policy agenda that has been happening around cutting government assistance, AKA for us. We know all about SNAP and the SNAP programs that have benefited people for many, many years. SNAP and these government assistance programs weren't even created for people of color, right? Was not. But throughout the years, statistics have proven that, of course, people of color and our race has been the ones to benefit mostly from these programs. I don't believe that either. I believe it depends on where you're looking, and if you're, drawing statistics from major cities like New York and Detroit, Michigan, and major cities like that that are highly populated, then yeah, the majority of those programs probably would benefit, of course, the minorities and those who are downtrodden and those who are dealing with, most of the pressures of the world, and not people of color, right? But if you look at other communities now, we are not the only ones using SNAP. We're not the only ones who have benefited from federal government-assisted programs like SNAP. But Reverend Sharpton wrote an op-ed about how Trump's cuts to SNAP and the city council's grocery delivery bill spells trouble for New Yorkers. For anyone concerned about affordability in New York City in particular, recent policy shifts in Washington, D.C., and now right here at City Hall should sound a screaming alarm that makes ends meet in the 5 boroughs is about to get much, much harder for many. That is because even as inflation squeezes families and federal safety nets are slashed, The City Council has passed a bill that would raise the cost of grocery delivery. But for seniors, working families, and those living in food deserts, grocery delivery is a lifeline for affordable food, medicine, and other daily essentials. According to the New York Health Foundation, 2/3 of chronically ill, food insecure New Yorkers say transportation is a barrier to getting the food that they need. At the same time, more than half of SNAP participants who depend on online grocery deliveries say that they struggle with the cost of grocery deliveries already because they put up a lot of surcharges and delivery fees and things on top of course, the fees to actually buy the groceries. While energy prices, home goods, and more have seen historic price increases, the rising weight of grocery bills stands above all else when it comes to the economic challenges facing struggling communities. Far too many New Yorkers have suffered the strain of high grocery prices. In fact, today, throughout New York, food insecurity affects 1 in 4 children, 1 in 8 households, and nearly 1.4 million people. The pressure of inflation is squeezing our families even tighter, especially in communities of color. It's clear that hunger is rising at an alarming rate, and without swift action, the situation is about to get much worse. Predictably, President Trump and Republicans in Washington are callously slashing billions in funding for food programs like SNAP, threatening a lifeline for almost 3 million of our neighbors and hundreds of thousands of Black and brown New Yorkers in particular. That is because, as it is too often the case when negative economic pressures mount, it is communities of color that disproportionately bear the brunt, deepening the financial instability of countless families and exacerbating inequality. However, it's the City Council's surprising recent legislative efforts that will double down on the Trump administration's morally bankrupt safety net cuts and make it even harder for countless New Yorkers to afford and even access groceries. For those working on the ground to increase food access for those in need, we see every day how families depend on grocery delivery when transportation is a barrier. If Mayor Adams allows this bill, this bill to become law, it would diminish the ability of organizations like Collective Food Works to serve the families who rely on us and disconnect local businesses and food providers from the communities they're meant to nourish. That is why Mayor Eric Adams must veto this bill. Simply put, this policy will push vulnerable New Yorkers into hunger by driving up the cost of grocery delivery, a service that hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers rely on. Instead of working to increase access to affordable groceries while preserving flexible work opportunities, the council's approach will drastically hike up the cost of delivery, put affordable food even further out of reach, and block access to earnings opportunities for workers. For years, Mayor Adams has led the charge to tackle food insecurity and make it easier for countless families to put food on the table, lowering the cost of healthy fruits, and also making it more accessible for us to have access to healthy produce and other things that we need. Now, what is he going to do about this legislation is the question. So, got a lot to talk about here, and I don't know how we feel about this, but food insecurity is one thing. Obviously, access to quality foods is another thing, right? The transportation issue and the barriers that especially New Yorkers are dealing with is another issue. And then the policy ramifications is a third wheel to this. Put it all together and we got major issues that's happening where people can't not only afford to buy the groceries, but can't afford to get them. So that's another issue. And we just keep laying the issues, I think, on top of the issues and really, really delving into a deeper hole here. So with that said, we definitely need to combat this city council's legislation to increase the food delivery charges. We need to definitely, combat that. But we also need to align ourselves with the information to provide to our communities on what we can do to better equip ourselves with what we need to, to get access to the foods and things that we need to do with all these cuts that are happening. So I don't know if anyone has anything to say about this. I really just wanted to make sure everyone was aware of this op-ed and aware of what is happening around us, and also this new bill proposed by the City Council. Thank you.
Oh, oh, okay. You know, it's bad enough that it's hard enough to even get on SNAP because they tell you if you make too much money, you get cut or you get denied. Or if there's if there's too many people in your household that's making too much money over the budget, you get cut or you get denied. And it's bad enough that rent is even crazier in New York City, which is why so many people is thinking about leaving the city. Like the average rent here is about maybe, what, 2,000? Or even above that, or is even 3,000? 2,500?
That's for what? One room, they said.
That's crazy. And most of it is shoebox apartments. So we can't even buy, afford rent. What about clothes? What about shoes for our kids? Like they're so quick to judge us saying we're not doing enough, but yet they want to hike up the prices. And also they're even trying to make, the subway $3 for a one-way ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, ever since COVID happened, like things are just going up and up and up, and I don't know why they're doing this. And they wonder why people are jumping on the turnstile. Like they need to do better, and they really need to consider the needs of New Yorkers, and they need to consider it now. Otherwise, we're gonna have a bigger issue on our hands.
Hi, I'm Janka, Well, R-E-S-P-E-C-T. That's what Aretha Franklin sings, right? Respect. All of you folks, how many went to public school and saw the color guard? Does anybody know what the color guard is? The color guard are the flag. When they come in with all the different flags, with the Native American, our flag, New York State, has Native American, New York City.
Hold on,
So the color guard means teamwork. Now, you might not know, but the fisherman, Martha Vineyards, is Jesus Christ. He was a fisherman, all right? So teamwork is important. Now, when they rob the crown purse, there's no more money. I ran for president, I own Throgs, I'm robbed because other white people want to be equal to sovereign people who were born to feed, to provide, and to protect. And that's what's happening.
Yeah. There's a point there.
George was King George, and he became George Washington. He married Martha, and they were from the 11th century. They didn't have a telescope. In the 11th century, that was when the first settlers came, and the Native Americans were pure. They did not know about Jesus, okay? And then they married, and they multiplied, and then they had a telescope in 1492, and they made the chart from the stars. And Frederick Douglass Jr., right here, there's a street, and Victoria Woodhull Morris, they ran for president, made the North Star with this history, 1872.
What does that have to do with food
So
security?
food is all being stolen because I'm impersonated as Shirley Temple to the UN, and like it or not, there's no more money. Wars all over the world. Because we make every nation.
Thank you and sit down. Because it's rude. And I'm over.
They rob me, they rob everyone. No more.
Thank you.
It's because of the president. It's because of that man in that White House. He doesn't care. That's why this stuff is happening. Many of us are not reading between the lines. And I don't know what the mayor is going to do, Eric Adams, the Congress people, the governor. I mean, we as a people, we know we have struggled. I wasn't there in 1929 or when they had the first food depression, the Great Depression or whatever. There was no food. I wasn't there, so I don't know what he's gonna do. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about our people, and he'll never care. I don't care how many, even the, what's his president, JFK, this guy that's supposed to be the son of the JFK,
RFK.
or RFK, whatever, he doesn't care neither. Talking about taking shots, taking this, doing that. That's what they want us to do.
All right.
That's what they want us to do. He doesn't care. It starts with the man in the White House, that White House guy.
True. Thank you. Give her a hand for that. It starts with the man in the White House, but then you also have to think about your elected officials, which she said, the mayor and the governor have the authority to protect us. And they have the ability to add money, to do whatever they need to do to keep their citizens safe. And so think of that in this election for mayor and next year when you vote for governor. I'm not going to say who to vote for, but go ahead.
All right. So on this issue, she's absolutely correct. The main problem is the man in the White House. This administration has brought together one of the richest cabinets in history.
Richest.
All these guys are billionaires and millionaires, far removed from the interests of society. So they don't care about what affects the common good of the people, or they don't care about the poor. They don't care who's hungry. They care about their bottom dollar. All of their policies are being made to tailor to rich people. So this is one of the first administrations that doesn't mind cutting things like SNAP, like Medicaid, like anything that affects the poor in order to give rich guys a tax break, right? Now, previous administrations knew that when you do stuff like that, it's political suicide because nobody's gonna vote for you after that. And make no mistake, we were just talking about SNAP and how black people are disproportionately affected, disproportionately recipients of SNAP. While that is correct, remember there are still more white people that benefit from SNAP as a whole because we're minorities. So while we're disproportionately affected, they're getting hit just as hard and they're just as mad. This is the perfect time for everybody to come together. We all agree on this. Nobody wants to see little kids go hungry to give rich guys like Donald Trump extra tax breaks. Nobody wants to see little poor kids and pregnant poor women get no health care so that rich guys like Donald Trump can get a tax break. Nobody wants to see people get overly exhausted with student loan debt and stuff like that so that rich guys like Donald Trump can get a tax break. So let's come together and let's vote these people out of here and let's preserve our democracy. We are on a slippery slope that's heading straight to autocracy. They don't care about the election results right now. All of the rich guys that he put in his cabinet are coming and putting their heads together to figure out a way to rig the election so that our votes will no longer matter. This gerrymandering that they're trying to do is a race to the bottom. And once again, I like to acknowledge what the Texas Democrats are doing, holding out in Illinois, holding out in New York, and places like that to make sure that they bring attention to the issue. It's not about the result here. Even if they don't ultimately accomplish what it is that they're trying to do, which is to deny the Texas Democrats a quorum, which is what you need to vote. They are still putting the country on notice that this is not an issue that just affects Texas. This is the blueprint. They're trying to do that in every state where they can so that they take away our vote. So it's important to pay attention to this, and it's important to support our people.
Beautiful. And let's close by saying this, Marquise brought it home, but this is right. We are the majority in this the minority in this country. And that has been proven, and it is real, that white people predominantly are the ones that benefit from these things. And it was not, because of us that they have these things. But what Trump is doing, hospitals are closing, people are going to die. People are going to get sick, pregnant women. I'm glad he brought up pregnant women. Pregnant women also have to deal with this too. Not mortality, the fertility rate of the country will start decreasing. When women cannot get the prenatal care, thank you. When they cannot get the prenatal care, these are all things that we have to keep in mind. And I'm going to close with this. The governor signed early this year a law that expanded prenatal care for women in response to what Trump was doing before he even did it. But now that he's really doing this, thank God there are certain protections that we have, but that's not everywhere else in the country. So everybody that is being mindful, I'm glad Maurice brought up the Texas Democrats. If they hold on for a little while longer, it will pass over. And they can't do nothing about the gerrymandering until 2 years from now. And it's not really redistricting is not supposed to happen for 10 years. So, what they're doing is illegal. Patrice is coming with her did you know. But keep that in mind. SNAP, Medicare, Medicaid, all of that plays a role in our lives and in the lives of your families.
Good evening, Huddle family. So how many of you have heard about the cuts at BET? You heard about the cuts? BET suspends Soul Train and Hip Hop Awards. Fat Joe calls it a form of gentrification. Two staple programs that focus on the impact of Black culture, the BET Hip Hop Awards and the Soul Train Music Awards, have been indefinitely suspended. However, according to BET CEO Scott Mills, who limited in comments to Billboard, they could return via the network's streaming platform. Now, we know that those events are normally live with a full audience, and it's recorded live. According to Rolling Stone, doubts about the future of the Soul Train Awards began to rise in 2024, when the show, which had been airing since 1987, was skipped, and its social media account went silent in March of that year. The BET Hip Hop Awards, a newer innovation from BET, is an award show that branched out from its BET Awards show, began airing in 2006. And like the Soul Train Awards, has aired every year on the network. Mills continued, I would say that it's less about being no longer and more about the team having to reimagine them for this changing media landscape that we find ourselves in. I think what we're going to see are many people taking franchises and saying, this might have started on television, but now I'm going to move it to another space. Do I move it to streaming, or do I move it to another platform? According to Billboard's reporting, the changes at BET have likely been triggered by the merger of BET's parent company, Paramount Global, with Skydance Media. Mills avoided any direct comment about BET's place in Paramount's future pecking orders, but landed the company's position as a leading Black media platform. Fat Joe, in a recent interview of Joe and Jada, meaning the rapper Jadakiss, they said that BET's founder, Bob Johnson, sold BET to Viacom, ending the network's long run as a Black-owned company in 2000. That's almost 25 years ago. He added, yeah, it is 25 exactly. He added, BET came up as a community station for Black people and urban culture. Our man, Bob Johnson, took the check. He sold it to Viacom, Paramount, MTV, and them, VH1 and them. Little by little over the years, quietly, they've been firing a lot of people behind the scenes at BET. And everyone who has something to say, they also been firing them. And I know, because I've been working on the BET Hip Hop Awards for 3 years, and it wasn't like this. The budget was not for me, but the budget just kept getting chopped and chopped and chopped, according to Fat Joe. So many things going on. We all knew BET as the Black entertainment television. Back in the day, we used to watch so many shows on there, Bobby Jones Gospel, and so many other things were happening. But now Fat Joe, who has become a known activist overnight, right, the last 24, 48, 72 hours, something like that. We were talking about it in the back with Ashley, but however, he is now the spokesperson for hip hop. And it's ironic that today is the anniversary, right, of hip hop. So, I just want to take a few comments about what your thoughts are. Do any of you watch Soul Train and Hip Hop Awards? Do you even care? Or are we losing all of the stuff that we've all created? I mean, that's why we need to be on Wall Street 828, but I'll start with the comments.
Yes.
Okay. So Soul Train is the old school. So y'all know, we call her Soul Train. She runs up here on Saturday and dances. When, no, it's
The
Carmela.
different wig colors.
And she comes up. She was the original Soul Train dance. Like, we joke around, but she really was, right? So that means it was way back in the day. It's a place where you came together and they did like the Soul Train line. You know, at parties you do the Soul Train line and stuff. That really originated somewhere years ago. That was like the black entertainment for our people. Don Cornelius, and y'all know him with that little skinny microphone. I adore that. I always wanted one of those. However, but from back in the day, that's where that originated from. Soul Train was just that. Soul Train, and you just did whatever dance you did, and you consider that to be soul. Talk about it, Christian. Tell us your thoughts.
My answer to this conversation is twofold. And the reason why is, one, this goes to the underlying fight of DEI. They are taking away the culture. Hip-hop is a culture. However, this is where the second part of it comes from. The culture has become very degrading. And it is becoming now too inappropriate for you to be able to play on television. It is becoming too nasty for you to play on television. As a kid, my mother, we used to watch these things. We used to do it. But then as I got older and you start watching it, and I have younger siblings, I'm like, this is not appropriate for children. You have people on poles and stuff. You got people doing all kinds of crazy things on live television, which makes us and the culture look bad. So for me, I think it is a problem that they are doing it because it is black entertainment, and they don't want black entertainment because of what Trump is saying. But in a good way, this is also good, because at least we will no longer be mainstream as, you know, what they're proclaiming us to be. If they don't want folks calling us ins and Bs and hoes, you can't portray yourself to be one on national television. I mean, you know, these people, so I mean, for me, that's how I see it. I definitely do not agree with this, but I think that as you want to continue in the fight, that you have to change your approach. It can't just be, oh, it's because we're black, they want to get rid of it. There are other things that also played a role in this that I don't think that people want to even realize, that they have been talking about doing this for a while because of how nasty it's been getting. I think that they have just done it now because of Trump. And Trump put the pressure on them to say this is enough, because why do you have a show just for black people? But I mean, you have the Grammys and all of that stuff, that it is very rare for black people to get awards. Not Grammys, it's not Grammys, black people get awards. The Oscars, thank you. The Oscars, and even, what's that other one? One of the other ones. I mean, everything, the Grammys, black people get Grammys, okay? That's one thing we can say we get. But all the other ones, we barely get. But that's why I'm glad we have things like the Griot. The Griot, you have the Griot Awards that are still going. What's his name? Byron Allen. Byron Allen, the Griot Awards, he's still going. He's still got his stuff. So these are things, and there's one more. I'm forgetting one more. Which one? Triumph is us. That's us. We love that. And NAACP still got their awards, the Image Awards. That's big. Urban League got their own awards. But these are us. But other than that, which one? Oh, BET General. But when you start breaking down the culture, and Black Girls Rock, yeah, thank you. But these things we still have, and we should keep them, you know, for as long as possible. But that's my take on that fight, Dan.
Thank you. Tell us your thoughts.
Amen. I am allowed to get my own television show, but this is not it right here. And I will say, not disregarding what Dominique was mentioning previously in regards to what could be a potential to implement market caps or change market caps and drive down the economy, I do want to address what I heard Patrice mention to the extent that as a proprietor, it's important to understand rebranding, concepts of rebranding, and reasons to rebrand, because there's such a thing as product, place, and price. Valuation is included in price, but as far as placement of what type of content it is that would be on national television, because I believe that is what we're discussing here, these large organization conglomerates, enterprises, corporations, etc., are choosing, not being forced, but choosing to make themselves less visible. And I think strategically it does show a sign of the time that can be indicative of future success. So I'm not speaking to the subject that I heard Reverend Christian Matthews discussing, because my brain did not allude to that. But I do find that it's imperative to
No, you okay.
to
Go ahead.
preserve these microphones will be funny sometimes, to preserve the integrity of the product, or, for those in service markets, the service that you're selling, because sales has a lot to do with television network as does viewership. So after the pandemic, with the population here in America being what it is, and us talking about television networks that I don't believe are international, I do believe the priority for these owners and the board members, those who have a stake in the company, is to, if the company is going to withstand the future, make the right best decisions for them. And because we're talking about television shows that we may be familiar with that may not be Lifetime, soap operas and things on public access network television, there's a lot involved in making a decision to choose not to continue to move forward and maybe rebrand. So I think it's important to understand what type of content they want to use to represent the brand.
Thank you. And marketing, like you said, is very important, especially for shows and channels like that. Tell us your thoughts.
Can you repeat the question real quick? I'm sorry.
So basically, I was talking about how BET has suspended Soul Train and Hip Hop Awards, and Fat Joe and Jadakiss and a lot of other rappers are saying that it's basically because Bob Johnson sold out the station, and basically they've been kind of, chipping away for years, but now they're really just canceling the stuff except for the main BET Awards.
Okay.
So what do you think about that?
So if they was gonna cancel it, why do it now? Like, why do it now during the Trump administration? Like, if they was gonna cancel it, why do it now when it's controversy, when Trump is talking about black folks as if we're, bad people? Like all I'm saying is this, I'm sorry, I don't want to repeat myself though, but basically my opinion is this: if you're gonna cancel a show, do it when not when it's like controversial. Do it when it's like you want to. And to piggyback on what Christian said, yes, I do agree that hip hop nowadays has become disgusting, and as a people, we do need to start cleaning it up, because it's not the same how we was when we were kids. Because now they're talking about offing people. They're disrespecting us as black women about our bodies and what we put on the TV, and then people and the younger people are seeing this. It's nasty. We need to clean it up and make it better. And on top of that, they're not selling us out. Like, that's just my opinion.
Thank you. Share your thoughts. What do you think about BET cutting Soul Train and Hip Hop Awards, and how Fat Joe was saying that he knew it was coming?
As I grew up on Soul Train, Michael Jackson, and
You mean watching Soul Train, right?
watching Soul
Okay,
Train.
got you.
Watching Soul Train. Well, watching our entertainers entertain us on television. They have pushed it back. It used to be on like 11 o'clock in the morning. Then the next thing I know, it was on at 1 o'clock. Then on Saturday. Then they pushed it to Sunday late. People are asleep. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. Who's gonna watch that? They doing what they want to us. If he's listening, he's a wicked person. He doesn't care. That man in that White House, he's wicked. And he's gonna stay that way until we stay together. We have a president, Reverend Al Sharpton, and he's doing leadership, and he's been doing it like Martin Luther King. I never met Martin Luther King, but I thank God I'm meeting Reverend Al Sharpton.
Thank you so much for your comments. Tell us your thoughts on BET canceling Soul Train and the Hip Hop Awards.
That's so heartbreaking, even though I haven't really been listening to live, up-to-date music since the early 2000s, because the music has changed so much, I can't even handle half of it. But I grew up listening to hip-hop. I listened to the Soul Train every Saturday morning. I couldn't resist. And, you know, when they dropped new science, new music, oh my God, it just changed the whole neighborhood. But the thing is this that's missing. Two things that I see is missing. One, my commitment is that every business is run as a life purpose business model, where everybody in the business is living their life purpose, because if all you get paid is money, you never get paid enough. And then the other thing is that I wish that we had somebody that's life purpose was to actually run hip hop, rap, and music. And so we have music is fundamental. Circumstances may change, but music stays the same. It's got the same scale of music. It got the same instruments. It don't change. I mean, doo-wop and hip-hop, classical, country, they have different styles, but they're the same thing. So we need to wake these people up so they can see how to take care of people, how to take care of all of us, because it ain't just them. I'm complete.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your comments thus far. Let us know what you think about BET canceling Hip Hop Awards and Soul Train Music Awards.
All right, I'll be short since I'm last. What I think about this is it's part of an overarching theme. Like, this is just another thing that they're taking. It's cool to take away stuff from black people now. Like, whatever it is, since Donald Trump went on his tirade trying to take away DEI, it's just become popular to take things away from us. If you notice during the George Floyd protest, right, as soon as we stood up and we saw that man die on tape, what we said is we're not going to take this anymore. People took out to the streets, people protested, people marched, and then what they realized from that was that we're not going to accept you guys trying to take away our lives or anything else from us. So we had the opposite effect. You notice when you stand up and when you make your voices heard and when you are seen and when you march, people start doing the opposite. They give things to you. Okay, we understand your plight. We see how big it is. We see around the country there's protests. So we are going to give you diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. When you do that kind of stuff, it's contagious. Okay, when you don't stand up and when you decide not to march and when you're silent in the face of authoritarianism and this wannabe Hitler that wants to take everything away from us, we've got the opposite effect. People think, well, okay, they're not saying anything. Let's take some more stuff. It's cool. It's beneficial. So we need to stop things like that in their tracks. And that's why it's so important to have this march on the 28th. I hope that we come out in proper numbers so that we show what we showed before, that we're a resilient people, that our voices are going to be heard, that we're not going to stand silent in the face of authoritarianism and this wannabe Hitler. Let's come together on the 28th and let's march and let's do what we do and let's get some of our stuff restored.
Thank you so much. And our last comment, and then we'll wrap up.
Good evening again, everybody. Just going back to what you were saying, you know, BET has a long history. And I'm going to try to be as brief and short as possible. But You know, when BET initially came out, going back to Bob Johnson, you know, I mean, I think it's a little bit too late to be trying to point fingers and talk about Bob Johnson, call him a sellout and everything else now. I mean, that was almost 25 years ago, okay? Because when BET initially was formed, it was called Black Education Television. It wasn't always Black Entertainment Education. I mean, Black Entertainment TV. It
Right.
was, all right, so, I mean, education was not marketable at the time. So you have to understand when you're dealing with television and production and marketing and sponsorship, you have to appeal to a larger audience. Just like where we are today, we're not just talking to our audience, we're talking to the world. You know, and there's some things that some people might agree with and something that they might not agree with what's being said up here, but at the end of the day, it's still being said. We've got freedom of speech, and it's an opportunity. So going back to what I was saying with BET, okay, now, we talked a lot today about BET, about the exploitation, about the lack of decency, about the, you know, the images. Now, going back to the mid-2000s, again, we were it was brought to our attention that BET was engaging in practices that are unbecoming to impressionable people after the hours of 3 o'clock. Just going back to the decency, going back to Reverend Sharpton's decency initiative. They got mad at him for trying to start an initiative saying, yo, Rev, you messing with my money, you messing with my profits, we just trying to make some money, have a good time, which is fine. But there needs to be a balance, okay? They're adult themes for adults, and they're children themes for children, and there's an in-between. And so BET had a hard time with maintaining that balance. I'm proud to say it, and I probably might have been blackballed or how you say, alienated for doing it, but I was one of the leaders of the Enough is Enough protest outside of Viacom's, outside of the home of Philip Damone. We met every Saturday. Delvin Coates out of Ohio, I think it was, or D.C., Maryland. I always mess that up. But, you know, it was brought to our attention that this was the issue, and to show about how our dollars went, I never thought that they would listen to me and we prevailed. What did we do? We said, what we're going to do is, well, they said we're going to march outside of the homes of Philip Damone and Deborah Lee. We had simultaneous rallies in New York and in Washington, D.C., outside of the home of Deborah Lee and outside of the home of Philip Damone. I said, no, we can't just stop there. What do? Let's go buy up the stock. What did we do? We got all of the churches. We got community-minded people, people with influence, people with no influence, people with $1, people with no dollars. And we went out there, and we went into the shareholders meeting after purchasing stock, and we made our points and our issues known. And guess what? Unfortunately, 106 in Park was taken off the air, which is a program that I loved, enjoyed, and even wanted to be on. But they had these derogatory images, and instead of just changing the images, they just took them off the air. Free and AJ and all of them. We didn't ask them to take them off the air. We just asked them to modify and make changes. So, you know, I don't mean to get overwhelmed, but because I'm just trying to tap on so many different facets, going back to the BET, where we are now taking away Soul Train and other programs such as this, is just another way to take away from us, to keep us, again, where our minds focused on fighting. Meanwhile, there's enough money in the entertainment industry of people of color. There's enough money in the business community for us to create our own platforms. And so maybe this is just another way to say, listen, you know, they're trying to get rid of public broadcasting. They're trying to take control of all of the cable stations. There is enough money, and there has to be a unification amongst us within ourselves. We're not always going to agree on everything. Everybody ain't going to be on the same page, but we have to do what we have to do. We have to listen to people like Rev. We got to come together, put our dollars together to make the change. We want change. We got enough money to make the change. We don't have to go demanding that they make the change. Bob Johnson, he wanted to buy up the TV stations he did, but we gotta back our own. We gotta stop some of our own mess to prevent some of us from wanting to even support each other. I mean, we gotta have the real conversation if we're gonna build and become a great nation within a nation.
Thank you, Damien.
Have a good afternoon, everybody. Thank you.
So to wrap up that, it just made me think, as everyone came up with their comments, it's ironic that they started to cancel stuff at BET once they wouldn't sell the station to what? It was Tyler Perry and Puffy were trying to buy BET, right? More recently. So it's funny how all of our programs getting canceled, and then you wouldn't even sell it to black men. But stay tuned to BET, and I know it's a lot of shows that come on and that a lot of us watch. So it's a shame that that's happening, but sometimes it's a wake-up call that's needed in Black America. That's why y'all need to meet us on Wall Street on August 28th, so that we can let them know that we're not having it and we're standing up against, and we will continue to fight for DEI. Thank you, and that wraps up my Did You Know?
I don't know if I was born. Bill Cosby? No, that wasn't my time. Let's give Patrice another hand for that wonderful. Did you know? All right, so I'm going to try to finish. I'm not going to ask no question. I'm not going to ask no comment or concern. I'm just giving you the information, and we are going home. All right? All right, but this is something that you guys do need to know because it is very unprecedented. Well, we can't even use that word anymore because we just have a crazy president. So anything he does is just a normal day in America for him. All right, so does anybody know what Trump just did today? This was today. Yes, Ocean, go ahead. Yes, thank you. So, so sorry. Yes, Donald Trump has deployed not the National Guard, he has deployed the Washington, D.C. police, which I have to give you the information. A lot of people think that it is crazy, and of course it is crazy, but you have to know the law behind it, and that's what I want to give you. So today, once again, Donald Trump is testing the bonds of his authority to militarize a major city in the United States. The capital, unlike other cities, is already in a significant federal control. Because it is not a city, it is not a state, it is a territory of the United States of America, and it is the federal district of the United States of America, which allows the president in certain instances to invoke emergency powers to solidify it. But there is an intersection of very complicated laws regarding that. Let me give you exactly what it is. So, can Trump take control of the D.C. police? The answer is yes. There are limits, however. The Home Rule Act gives him the power to use the D.C. police force for federal purposes if it is determined to be special conditions of an emergency nature. Everybody say bye to Miss Kathy Payne. Her birthday is on Wednesday. Good night. Happy birthday to you. She tried to sneak out. All right. Happy birthday. Okay. In emergency purposes. Now, the issue that Trump is trying to say is an emergency is homelessness. Trump is using the police in a way to go after homelessness and call homelessness a crime. D.C., crime has gone down. Crime has gone down significantly. Actually, in the top 10 major cities, especially where there are black mayors in America, it is reported that crime has reduced significantly across the country. And Trump is taking credit for it, but I mean, you know, how are you taking credit for something you didn't do? That's a different story. But he is now using homelessness and calling that a natural emergency and a crime to now be homeless. While crime has gone down, homelessness in the District of Columbia has gone up. Also, not just that, but there are now checkpoints in the District of Columbia as you are coming in. They are checking to make sure that you are an American citizen, because Washington, D.C. is a federal territory. And if you illegally enter into D.C., you are automatically deported. That is the law. It is not a state. It is not a city. It is in the auspices of the President of the United States. He has authority. Congress has more authority, but he does have authority. Okay, now these are the laws that rectify what he can do. The president can use the DC police for up to 48 hours or 30 days if he sends a special message to leaders of certain committees in Congress. So the full Congress does not have to vote on it. It is specific committees that vote. However, if he decides to go longer, he will need the approval of Congress, which we know that Congress will most likely give it to him. Okay. He is saying that he is using them to control and protect federal buildings. Federal buildings such as the Capitol. However, there was an insurrection while he was the president, and he refused. What did he refuse to do? Deploy the National Guard. When the Vice President of the United States, thank you so much, DT. When the Vice President of the United States was almost killed, as well as the Speaker of the House. Lastly, I want to give you this. Can the president deploy the National Guard in Washington, D.C.? What is the answer? Yes. Unlike the other 50 states, Washington, D.C. is the only state, well, the only territory or city where the president has complete control over the National Guard. The National Guard is technically in the control of the governor until it is deemed too
Didn't say he had his hands up, and there was a whole bunch of controversy around that case, and they got off, basically. Yeah, and we know Leslie McSpadden and his father, Reverend Sharpton, did the eulogy. He helped lead marches all over the nation, and Action Network, of course, was a part of that. But I just wanted us to remember that Michael Brown was killed in 2014, this past Saturday. So let's always remember what happened to him. Also, in lighter news, a few more Black History facts. In 1936, Jesse Owens won his 4th gold medal at the Berlin Olympics at the United States. And more good news, celebrating birthdays. She left, but Miss Kathy, we were going to celebrate her on Wednesday. Ocean announced her. We're celebrating her this week as well. But they're not here today. Alexis, our very own Alexis Jackson's birthday, and Auntie Audria, David's mommy, she always helps with Women's Auxiliary. They're both of their birthdays, today and tomorrow. We celebrate them. And also this week, yeah, well, I thought somebody's was tomorrow. Both of them were today. I'm sorry, y'all. All right. And then also this week we celebrate TV host Hoda and Football Hall of Famer Deion Sanders and rapper Curtis Blow. All right, everyone. And I just want to, last but not least, salute to Jalen. Jalen, are you here? All right. So Jalen, right here. She is working. Y'all seen her around. She was around here growing up, but that's Winston Gilchrist's granddaughter, great granddaughter. Excuse me. Winston Gilchrist has been since I was a little girl, since I was like 8. Maybe younger. He's been behind the camera shooting and recording history. And then, he passed the alley to Jay, who's hiding behind here, Supreme Creative Agency. But now Jalen is now carrying the torch, and she works with Supreme, and she was taught by her great-grandfather. So it's special to see her on Saturdays in this building. And she also helps with keeping the real radio show. So if you want, it's a great feeling to see young people thriving in all lanes here. But it's also great to see her. She's working, she's working the vision with Supreme, and we need interns. We want young people, if you know how to use your phones, if you know how to use cameras, if you want to learn, we need you to come. We don't want you to just come to talk on the mic. We want you to help control, work the cameras, learn how to produce, work with JT, and learn how to do this. Because there's lanes all over this movement for everyone, and we need your help, all right? So if your young people want to learn how to engage, Jalen is right there, Jay's right here, and Winston. So we have 3 generations, right? Right? That's a good thing, y'all. That's a great thing. It's a great thing. So I want to salute you. And last but not least, we want to keep our own Mr. Arthur and David Robinson in prayer. Mr. Arthur lost his brother, and David lost his father, and we've seen them every day. They've been here, still on duty. So we give them our deepest condolences and our love. And when you see them as we let out, just give them some love and appreciation, because we love them and appreciate y'all, and we're so sorry for your loss. All right, we close out in prayer.
Let's give Ashley a hand for all of those last reports. Also, Jalen, she didn't say this, but Jalen also goes to an HBCU, DSU. And so we want to shout her out. Okay, everybody stand. We're going home. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for this time and this opportunity that you have brought us here. Thank you for a great huddle that you have given us. Lord, we pray for everybody that is on the prayer list. God, we continue to keep our president and founder, Reverend Sharpton, in prayer. Lord, continue to give him strength, courage, and tenacity to go forth. Continue to touch all of the leaders and staff of NAN, that, God, you will continue to cover us and keep us under your precious blood. Lord, we pray for Mr. Arthur, that, Lord, as he is grieving and as he is dealing with loss, that, Lord, you will be the mender of the broken heart, and that, God, you will fill in every void. For, Father, you said that on the day of Pentecost that they were all filled with power and that the Comforter will come. And so, Lord, we ask that you send the Comforter to his heart and his mind. Now, Lord, as we leave this place, never from your presence and your sight, get us to our various destinations and find all things well. Bless the food. Thank you for the hands that prepared it. Thank you for those that will serve. Remove all impurities from the food. Let it bless our mind, body, and soul. In Jesus' name, amen. All right.